In the last years, we've experienced what it means for words to lose their meaning. We've seen what it does to society when many people believe that words and free speech is violence, when they think that, for example, when you have a particular belief about what is gender, you want to erase whole groups of people. And we've experienced this madness where people who are slightly to the right of Hillary Clinton are called the far right or fascist or whatever. We've seen this, and many people rightly have criticized it. And what do I see happening these days? These same people who criticize this madness of words losing their meaning are now actively participating in destroying the meaning of language. Here's the latest example. Yesterday, Elon Musk wrote on Twitter, Kamala is quite literally a communist, about the Kamala Harris. Quite literally a communist. She wants not merely equal opportunity, but equal outcomes. Now, I found this very, very weird. So I wrote a tweet saying, here's a quick test to figure out if someone is a communist. Do they want to organize the working class in a revolutionary vanguard party, take power, impose a dictatorship of the proletariat, nationalize the means of production, collectivize the land, organize production based on central planning, and then redistribution based on quota, do away with exchange value or whatever communism is about? And obviously the answer when it comes to Kamala Harris is no. And so many people got angry with me that I protect Kamala Harris as if I'm a sympathizer of her or anything. Or they told me that I don't really understand that we are sleepwalking to communism. Now, why did people freak out with Kamala Harris? And let's make it clear. There are many, many reasons to not like Kamala Harris and to be afraid of the prospect of the Democrats being in power for 4 more years. But communism is not one of them. So Kamala talks a lot about equity. Now, what is equity? Equity is the E in DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's about people given what they need in order to reach results based on their potential, whatever that is. So in some ways, equity could lead, and actually is an egalitarian idea, that it's not technically that everyone should have the same, but it is that you need to be given whatever you need so that you reach your potential, which might be different to someone else's potential. So everyone who, because of their group, it's mostly a group thing, because of the group are quote marginalized, that they can do better in life. And people see this and think it's communism. And I'm sorry to break it to you people, but we've been living under such an ideology for ages. This is, in effect, progressive taxation, social democracy, redistribution. I take from those who have a lot and I give to those who have less. Who is the most famous political philosopher, unfortunately, of the 20th century? John Rawls. Well, this was his whole thing. His thought experiment about the veil of ignorance, that actually, if you don't know how you would end up in life with how much intelligence, physical ability, and all that stuff, you would want a society that whatever your ability or your skills, you end up in a place where you have a decent life. And of course, this, if you dig inside, there's a lot of egalitarianism in this. So there's a lot of, this is a very collectivistic thought. But here's the thing, not every form of collectivism, not every form of authoritarianism and coercion is communism. So what is Kamala Harris, after all, if she's not a communist? And she's obviously, like, I don't even believe we can have the discussion. Like, do you people really believe that Kamala Harris is going to take your property, is going to nationalize your business? Do you truly believe we're gonna like live and work in communes? If this is the case, then I worry. I honestly worry about what the culture wars have done to your mind. Maybe you spend way too much time online. And I'm not saying this to be sassy. I actually worry if good people whose mind and judgment I respect are afraid that Kamala Harris is taking us to a path on communism. So what does Kamala Harris stand for? She's a politician, she's a power luster, and she stands for nothing. She stands for whatever is the fashion, whatever is the intellectual fashion that will give her more power. If you see most of these statements about equity, you can tell by she's wearing a mask. It's around the period of 2020, 2021, the period after the killing of George Floyd, where diversity, equity, and inclusion were the fashion. And obviously, I've spoken very vocally against diversity, equity, and inclusion. But again, the fact that a power luster jumps into a fashionable intellectual bandwagon does not mean that she's a communist. If the fashionable thing that would give her more power was, libertarianism, she would give a quote by Hayek or by Hoppe or by Rothbard. I mean, that's contradiction. That wouldn't give her more power. But what I mean is these people are going to say anything. Don't think that Kamala Harris goes to bed at night thinking, how can I make the world a more egalitarian place? And again, the main problem here is what this mode of thinking where words lose their meaning, what it does to our mind and what it does to our society. I'll finish with this. There's this very nice quote misattributed to Albert Camus. I don't know if it's even a real quote, but it's a nice quote. It goes something like this. It says, when you name things in the wrong way, you add to the misery of the world. When you name things the wrong way, you add to the misery of the world. So when you say that Kamala Harris is a communist, you add to the misery of the world. You're better than that. Don't do it. Thank you.